Hey there, it's Simon here. How are you? Thanks for checking out this video on the 336. We're going to do some playing, all sorts of sounds. Thanks very much to my Patreons, in particular Ryan, for suggesting the idea for this video. Let's get straight into it. First up, the name and model and all that sort of stuff, just some specs on this guitar. This is a 2007 Gibson 336F. Now, I bought this second hand about, I'd say about 15 years ago from a student of mine actually. Steph, if you're out there, thanks so much for this guitar. This was awesome. And I bought it at a time when the US and Australian dollars were at parity, which was pretty good. So it meant that it wasn't as expensive as they are nowadays to me. I think they retail for around sort of maybe $5,000 or $6,000, which is beyond my means. But fortunately, the exchange rate helped me all those years ago. So let's have a look at some of the specs on this thing, and I'll talk to you about why I bought it. So here you go, some beautiful pictures from Reverb. You can see it's got a figured top, which is really, really cool. The top is maple, the back and sides are mahogany, the center block is solid maple, and it's a nitro finish. There's the back. So beautiful, this thing. And it's a C-shaped neck. The scale length is 24 3/4 inch rosewood fretboard. It's 22 frets. The pickups are 57 humbuckers, classic 57 humbuckers, and it came with a case and all that kind of stuff. Very happy to have it. Let's hear what it sounds like. The other reason I guess I bought it was that I had a 335. Now, a 335, if it was on my knee, it would probably come up to about here. And so I had a trouble with the top of my back because I played a lot of acoustic guitar when I was younger and I kind of put myself out. And I would get really sore and I'd get headaches up the back of my neck and all that sort of stuff. It was horrible. So that's why I looked into this, and these had only just come out, I think maybe 2006, 7, something like that. So that's why I bought this instead of a 335. I loved my 335, I loved it so much. This is just better, it's better shape for me, it's much, much smaller. And just it fits, I find it fits to me much better. So sound-wise, I haven't got it crazy loud in here because it's first thing in the morning. So I've got an attenuator on. I'm using a 2-notes Captor X, which basically guitar into the amp. It comes out of the amp. I've got a Fender Deluxe. It's coming out of the amp and into the audio interface and then straight to you. So that's what you're going to hear. I'll do a few different sort of things, some clean stuff, some dirty stuff. If you have any questions or you want to hear any particular kinds of sounds, just ask. That's what this is for. So there we go. Now, it's not crazy loud in the room like I said before, but hopefully it is coming through to you pretty well. Okay, so I've got the amp at about 3 and trebles at 7. I've got quite a lot of bass at 7. All right, that's what it sounds like. That's a clean sound. So I've got THQ saying, sorry Simon, a 336, did you say? Yes, it's a 336. It's funny, I was doing some research on it this morning because I'm not terribly good with those technical details. I'm not really a details sort of person. I plug stuff in and I like it just to work. I like just the dials. I'm not really like a modeling kind of amp guy or a real tweaker that, you know, I've got this one and, you know, I just need I basically, all my live setup always is just the amp, effectively, and I've got like a wah and maybe a phaser sometimes, or an auto wah, but then I have like a whole bunch of overdrive pedals, and it just goes straight into the amp. So I never really do anything that super clever. So I'm not really a details person. So I had to look it up, and I always thought this was a CS356, but it turns out, and I had to look at my little certificate of authenticity, and it says it's 336. So who knew? So that's what it sounds like clean. I hope that came through okay. Oh, good morning, Tracy. How are you? Thanks so much for being here. So what else what other kind of sounds? Let's put, I'm gonna turn the amp up a little bit. So this is what you hear here. That is amp overdrive. So I've got a Fender Deluxe reverb here, and I've got it on the front pickup here, bridge pickup, sorry, neck pickup. So all of the appointments are basically exactly the same as the 335, I understand. Like I mentioned before, these are 57 humbuckers, Gibson 57 humbuckers. I haven't changed anything on the guitar. That's not true. Sorry, I have changed one thing on the guitar. When I bought it, it had the standard sort of tone, what's it called, Tune-o-matic bridge on it. And I found that when I went for bends, it would move, which is not ideal because then it puts it out of tune, right? So what I did was the Tune-o-matic bridge just has a pole that comes out of the guitar that way, and when you restring it, you can kind of pull it out and give it a bit of a wipe down and put it back on, which is awesome. But that meant that tiny micro movements, like it was still moving a little bit sometimes, which was a bit disappointing when this is a custom shop guitar. So what I did was I bought this bridge called a Tone Pros bridge, and it has a screw that comes through the pole piece that comes out, so effectively it's being locked in, if you know what I mean. So now it doesn't move at all, and actually the tuning stability on this guitar is absolutely fantastic. So everybody always whinges about, oh, the G string always goes out on the Gibson, you know, la 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 la, which is true, because I've got a gold top and it always goes out. But it stays in really nicely. Really nicely. So that's the front pickup. Let's put so a few chords in, and I'll play over the top. Let's have something like this. things that you really expect sort of a 335 to do. You know, it sounds the same and feels the same. It's a very sort of direct sounding guitar, if you know what I mean. Some people have described it to, you know, when I've played it at shows and stuff, they've kind of come and asked about it because I guess it's not a super common sort of thing. And some people have said it's a mix between like a Les Paul and a 335, but I don't know, I don't agree. I think it's much more like a 335. You can hear it's a hollow body all the time. All those sorts of sounds. You know, all that sounds like a 335, right? You can hear the hollowness in it. So I think, like for me personally, the 335 is too big. This thing is absolutely amazing. It's like I've already had it for 15 years. I've used it on loads of records and then loads and loads of videos here on YouTube. Anytime I really need that sound, like I only have one hollow body, I only need one hollow body, you know. It does all that stuff as well, that sort of chunk in it. Stuff, does all that. And of course it does all the lovely BB King stuff. I'm just gonna put, I've got a double barrel, JHS Double Barrel, and what I love doing is when I get the amp to about here, so you can hear it's got a bit of a, yeah, kind of sound, and I'm gonna put a bit of, basically, I always use overdrive pedals like this. I get the amp so it's just edging, and then, because imagine like there's the signal, here's the amp, it's the amp. Now, if the amp is really working hard, it amplifies it, and then that's where you get the overdrive. But if instead of a tiny bit of signal, you boost the signal so it's kind of this big, or bigger than the amp can handle, so you hit the front of the amp with the output, and then effectively it just goes bang. So that's cool. Let's do that. That's with it off. All right, so hopefully that has helped. And Ryan, if you're watching, I hope this has helped you out to sort of, because I think he was maybe thinking about getting one of these things. So it's a pretty big decision because they're quite expensive. But I mean, look at it, look at that. Oh. Look at that, woo! So I'm extremely excited to have this thing. And it's about 15 years ago that I bought it. I'm still this excited. Can you imagine how excited I was on the day I got it? Crikey. So yeah, it's a really pretty thing. It works really, really well. The one thing I would say is definitely, I hate, you know, the idea of buying a new thing to you and then going, okay, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change pickups or that sort of stuff. Play it first for a while. Like if you don't have problems with tuning stability, then don't change it. But I really, really did. I remember there was one show and I was playing and I went for it, I bent this A to B, and the whole thing went, and it was like I was bending from A to A sharp, and it just sounded really gross. So I was like, I'm not having that anymore. I'm not spending all this money on this. At the time, I'd never spent as much money on a guitar as I had on this one. And so I was like, I am not having that. I'm not, you know, I don't need any any more help to stuff it up. That was close. So there you go. No more questions? Sounds like we're done. I might do a more sort of focused video on this in coming weeks. Maybe. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe. Yes, roller bridge saddles do work well for tuning stability because they are moving. Yeah, I like that. This thing though, I think it was like, oh hey Brian, how are you, man? This thing, this Tone Pros bridge, killer, man. Let's turn that reverb down. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of delay on. Tiny, like tiny. Man, what a sound. So I reckon if that's questions wise done, I'm gonna give it a bit more welly here. Let's just have a nice slow bluesy thing to, sorry for all the slow bluesy things, but it's like before 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning and that's hard work, man. Let's sit here and do this all day. But I've got to go, because I've got to go to IKEA with my son, which is really exciting. So, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Thanks THQ, Brian, Tracy for hanging out, everybody else who's out there. Ryan, I hope this has helped you. If you want to get more lessons, all that sort of stuff, subscribe to the channel here. There's already 900 something lessons on the channel. If you want to support me, get charts and extra videos and all that sort of stuff, I would really appreciate that. You can do that at patreon.com/Simon Morel. I will see you next time. Thanks so much, everybody. Oh, I've got one more comment coming here. Good on you, THQ. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. I'll see you later. Have a great day. See ya. See you, Brian. See you, Tracy. Bye.